Alright, welcome back everybody. We're back again. End of June, no trades today. My entry didn't present itself. However, I did have literally three confluences. I waited for another one. It didn't present itself, so I just ended up not taking a trade. I ended up having a limit order filled. I will put the clip somewhere here. Now that you guys have seen that clip of my limit order, you guys can see right now the trade ended up hitting. Hold on. The trade literally ended up hitting. These were my longs that I wanted, and we're gonna explain to you why. I'm gonna explain why I was bullish today, and today was really easy except for the fact that I didn't get a retrace, which is pretty unfortunate, but it's okay. I have plans for that in the future. So coming into today, let's start with the daily, right? I haven't looked at the daily in a minute, guys. We are retracing heavily. Honestly, we are still in this daily, um, excuse me, in this daily gap. Well, not even daily gap. We ended up inversing this gap. I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up coming back into this gap to really fill in a couple more orders and then continue up higher, because this will be like the last thing we will leave before coming to all-time highs pretty soon. Let me mark out all my levels soon. Boom, and then all-time highs is right here. And if we look at the weekly, my predictions are literally coming right. This is literally what I was looking for, a nice V-shaped recovery. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. But let's talk about my bias and how I was like extremely bullish today. I ended up wanting to have two ways. I was going to be bearish to take into this gap into Asian session lows, or I was going to be mainly bullish. We got a manipulation into this gap, and I wanted a SMT so we could push towards my buy side liquidity. And that is exactly what we did. So coming into today, that's exactly why I was bullish. We had this 4-hour gap that we didn't tap into on ES, but we ended up creating the SMT because we tapped into it on NASDAQ. So this was the 4-hour gap right here. Ended up marking it out. As you can see right here, orders that just needed to be filled. We had no retraces at all whatsoever. We had one retrace into this hourly gap, but we still had all these buy side orders that needed to be filled. With that being said, market opened. Okay, market opened. We ended up coming down lower. I know we created a bearish SMT off rip on the 1 minute. However, we ended up creating a bearish SMT on the 1 minute, which ended us making up coming down to manipulate down into these lows, which was honestly beautiful in what I wanted to see like firsthand. Even if I didn't get a trade to these lows, I would love a rejection. Not really rejection. Excuse me, a reversal continuation out to the to my opposite draws and liquidity. And for my draws and liquidity, we ended up having data highs. Data highs were not taken because we had unemployment claims and final GDQ, but really just unemployment claims. So these were my draws and liquidity. And on top of that, we ended up having crazy stacked highs on ES. We ended up having 930 open highs, data highs, and on top of that, London session highs. And then these were just 4-hour highs from this huge gap right here. So on top of that, that was just something just to keep in mind of. And yeah, we ended up coming down manipulated into these lows. From there, it was pretty much text worked after we created that 5-minute SMT. I didn't need no 5-minute PDRA because we had our 5-minute SMT. So with that in my mind, I already scaled down to the 1 minute. We ended up taking out all this low level sell side liquidity, and from there we came into the gap, manipulated, and from there it was pretty much solid. After creating that 5-minute SMT, I pretty much scaled down. Excuse me. And as you can see, it literally matched up on the 1 minute time frame as well, from 8:30, well, from 8:34 to 9:50. From there, I was ready to get down and dirty. Like, it was going to be classic again for me. We ended up having SMT at the lows. We ended up having our inversion gap. From there, we ended up having our change of state, and we ended up creating a nice multiple fair value gaps. I was waiting for a retrace into one of them or into this one, but I was just waiting for a retrace, as you guys can see in the clip. And we just didn't get that. However, I'm pretty sure my trade was like, my limit order was like right here, around like before the 50%, and then, okay, hello, literally just targeting London session highs and data highs. I wasn't gonna take partials at data highs. I was probably gonna show my stops really, really tightly to data highs. But this was the original trade, as you guys can see in the trade in the clip that I presented to you guys. And yeah, that was pretty much it. One thing that I might start doing, I'm gonna collect some data on this. I usually wait for the retrace of the gap after this change in state of direction. What I usually want, because sometimes we don't get that. Maybe after we create that SMT and that inversion gap, we just create the change in the state. Maybe I'll just enter off the change in the state, and then obviously stops below the inversion, this tiny tiny inversion, and then like if we end up getting a retrace into a gap, I'll add like another contract. Not on demo obviously, like when I'm on a funded, of course, but when I'm on funded, to be honest, I plan on risking like quite heavy, even though it'll be my first time on a funded. I don't know. Um, I trade very discretionally, and I have a couple strategies that I like to use. This one I've been really sticking with a lot recently, and it's been really successful, especially just being discretionary about it and just knowing how to use a strategy properly towards your draw and liquidity, which ends up giving you that edge. I might end up risking a little bit heavy on like my first couple trades. Um, but I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it for the recap for today. Tomorrow, we end up having core price index, and we also have consumer sentiment. So we might just be choppy until consumer sentiment comes out. Oh, one other thing: executions apply to all. Okay, as you guys see, no trades today. Literally no trades. I did trade on Monday, and I mean that's pretty much it. This was pretty unfortunate how I didn't get an entry to this. This was honestly like the most obvious longs that I literally wanted. Not literally wanted, that I genuinely wanted. Um, it was just crazy because we had 5 minute accumulation. Just we were literally just in this huge range, not huge range, but we were just in this like horrible range. From there we manipulated down. From there we distributed to buy side liquidity. Excuse me. The read was pretty simple, man. The read was pretty simple. Literally same thing here. We manipulated. I mean, not manipulated. We really just accumulated throughout this whole like huge range through like market open too. Then from there we manipulated to cause this SMT, distributed to take out all these low resistance highs. Pretty unfortunate that I didn't catch it. It's all good. I'm not really tripping, to be honest. It's just a day. I'm gonna go enjoy my day, make some bread. Like bread. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it for the trade entry. It was a pretty easy day. Unfortunately, I didn't catch an entry, but it's all part of the game, man. All part of the game. At the end of the day, the tape reading is being better. The way I'm interpreting the market is being better. The way I'm like getting better the spot, like accumulation, the manipulation into an SMT. Oh, one thing I've noticed. One thing I've noticed a lot. An SMT into a high time frame pity array is more likely to hold than an SMT, than an internal SMT created just off of like rip. Like for example, we created this 5 minute SMT, 1 minute SMT, 1 minute internal SMT, which ended up turning out to be a 5 minute SMT in a high time frame PD array. What is the high time frame PD array? In a 4 hour gap. This makes it more probable than a SMT created by, let's say, like 10 a.m. open, causing a reversal, because we're rejecting from the high time frame PD array to take all the buy side liquidity. For example, right here, as you can see, 10 a.m. open off of news. From there, we had an SMT. We ended up having our high right here. We also had our higher high right here. ES failed to take this high, ended up creating a higher low, which ended up creating a mini internal SMT. Obviously, if I'm still in the trade on ES, my stops would have been at break even, to be honest, just because of this crazy displacement. Okay, we're back. There was gonna be a little edit, but anyways, like I ended up saying, if I was in the trade on Nasdaq, obviously, just because of strong displacement, I would have been on break even. I wouldn't trail stops. I would just be break even because ES ended up taking these highs. But like I said, high time frame SMT, not high time frame SMT, SMT off of inside a high time frame PD array is going to be more likely to hold than a just random internal SMT that was created. As you can see, we ended up creating this SMT that was just made to, honestly, looking at it now in hindsight, I generally thought I was going to like full reverse, fill in these gaps and continue higher. No, we just ended up coming in, filling in both these gaps, creating another SMT, and then from there we ended up continuing higher. As you can see, we ended up creating another SMT right here. ES ended up making a low, then as you can see right here, a lower low, boom. Nasdaq ended up creating a low, boom, higher low. So another SMT, and this SMT ended up smashing this SMT because this SMT was mainly just off of another PD array. So you guys see how like when we're inside a PD array and an SMT is formed, it makes it more probable. This is something I've been noticing a lot, and And when I've been backtesting it, it really gives really good results. So that's really good. But yeah, SMT inside of a PD rate is going to be more probable than just a random internal SMT. That's just something I've been noticing a lot. And as you can see, we ended up destroying that SMT, continuing. And ES was not ES, Nasdaq was just a bit choppy. And then from there, we ended up hitting our take profits. Take profits. But I mean, that's pretty much it for today. It was really easy longs. Unfortunately, I didn't catch them. It's part of the game. I'm happy anyways. June has been a crazy good month, man. I swear. Alhamdulillah, thank God for that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, if I actually catch a trade, I'm gonna freaking spam some posts on my TikTok right now. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow. I'm out. Peace. Oh wait, Viper, this is for you. Wow. Sorry, not playing.